So this right here is a 12-inch compound sliding miter saw. So you can see that it's clearly disconnected from power. It operates off of a 110 circuit, so it's a standard circuit. The saw, if you pull it down, slides back and forth, which means that you're able to cut deeper material. So if I had something that was this deep, the saw can clearly come all the way out to be able to cut it. Okay. The saw has multiple adjustments on it, and with those adjustments, it has a design where it pulls the motor away from the main cutting area. So adjustments like back here, you loosen back here, and you can move this saw all the way over here to be able to cut at a hard angle. Now when you go to do that, you can see what's going to happen. You're going to hit into this fence. So that means that you would have to take this fence and adjust it back, which it has an adjustment screw here, and same with the other side. So then I bring it all the way back up and I make sure it goes to 0. Okay, so when I bring it back up and I have it go to 0, I tighten this back here. Okay, just hand tight, snug it up. You don't have to wrench it too hard, and it gives me a 0 here and it gives me a 0 on the other side, so I know that I'm at a straight cut. Okay, this being a compound miter saw means that I can go and take material, and what happens here is it's got all these different degrees, and I lock it in like this, but if I want to move it, I push in this button and I can slide it either way. Okay, and it's got these grooves right here where those are standard measurements in carpentry, where as you're moving it, you can hear it lock into place. Okay, and you push this down and it locks in at a standard measurement. Some of those measurements are like 22.5 degrees, 45 degrees, things like that. But I'm going to move it back to 0, and as I move it back to 0, you can hear it lock in place. I push this down, I know that it's secure. Also, I have these extensions that come out on both sides. Okay, so these extensions that come out on both sides allow me to take a longer board, right? And I'm able to put it up here. Okay, and these extensions you can move up and down to make sure they're level with the plate on here, and I can cut safely. All right, so the miter saw itself, blade, this is our guard. This guard, as you pull down, see how this guard lifts up? So when that lifts up, that's allowing me to safely cut into the material. That doesn't mean that I manually lift this blade up, right? I don't take this guard all the way up and bring it down. This is designed with me in mind to keep me safe. I pull down, as I pull down, this guard comes up. That's how I want to keep it. I don't want to mess with that, okay? Because this is trying to protect me because I'm right over this blade, all right? Miter saws, sometimes people refer to them as chop saws, things like that. They come in all different sizes, all right? You can get an 8-inch, a 10-inch, a 12-inch, often referring to the blade size, okay? This blade has our carbides on the end, okay? The way these teeth are, okay? This most likely is the blade that came with the saw, if it comes with the blade. And the blade they will give you is usually like this, where you have this larger set for a tooth, okay? So your teeth are actually probably about 1 inch apart, okay? If you want to do fine cutting, so you're doing molding or something, you're going to want to have a blade that has closer teeth. You're going to want to have some nicer carbides, okay? This isn't a bad blade if it's brand new and sharp, but it's going to go dull pretty quick. This is a blade that I would use more for framing. So framing is you're cutting 2x4s, you're doing things like that, where the cuts don't have to be perfect. But if you're trying to do something that's a little bit tighter, something that's going to be seen, you want to make sure that your miters and all the joints that you're cutting with this are really, really tight. That's where I would invest in a blade that is a little bit heavier with the teeth, okay? And there's different blades out there for different things. It's always good to have a framing blade, okay? It's always good to have that blade as a backup where you've got to go and you got to cut something that you know is going to beat up the blade, throw that blade on, all right? But if you're trying to cut something that's nicer wood, you know it's going to be seen, then you make sure you have a blade on that's a little bit more expensive, has more teeth on it, more carbide on those teeth, and it's going to give you a finer cut.